The problem that many people with Asperger syndrome have is they don't realize that they're having fun. They see Asperger syndrome as a drudgery, as an albatross around their neck, something that just kind of drags them down. It's a ball and chain. Hey, that's the wrong way to see this thing. Because in my life, and I've been an Aspie all my life. I mean, before I was born, I had Asperger syndrome. I didn't know it, but I had it. And so I've lived with this thing my entire life. I'm almost 70 years old. So wherever you are in life, you could be a kid, you could be a teenager, maybe middle-aged, old person like me, but wherever you are in life, I've been there. I've done that. Maybe not the exact thing, but whatever stage you are in life, I've been at that stage. So I'm speaking from experience. I call life a laboratory. So I am wanting today to show you how I'm having fun being an Aspergian and how you can have fun being an Aspie too if you're not already having fun. And if you're being one of those people that feels, oh, I wish I didn't have this, or maybe you're saying, this is such a burden. I got to tell you, folks, look, you're looking at this thing wrong. I mean, totally wrong. It's fun being an Aspie. Okay, we got 4 things we want to talk about. So this is going to be a relatively short video, but let me begin by saying that you create in your mind a neurochemical that makes you have fun. You decide whether or not you're going to have fun or not, with a few exceptions, obviously. But you decide, if you're at the dentist, is that fun? Probably not. Sometimes it is, but you decide whether or not you're going to have fun by creating a neurochemical in your brain. It's called dopamine. Yeah, you've heard of that before, dopamine. So whenever, ever you are having fun, it's because dopamine is being released in your brain. And it's being manufactured in your brain and released. So we need to stop and ask ourselves, okay, I enjoyed that meal because dopamine was being released in my brain. Well, I had fun playing a game, and it's because, well, I decided to play the game, and in so doing, I was releasing dopamine. Now, what's more is you're not just releasing dopamine, but you are actually manufacturing it. That's a decision you make. I'm going to do something that is fun. And when you make that decision, you are manufacturing the neurochemical dopamine that gives you pleasure. You don't have to take drugs. What's wrong with people doing that? I mean, prescription drugs, sure, but people take these drugs off the street. Oh, I'm having fun now because I popped a pill. You don't have to pop a pill. You don't have to hurt yourself. By the way, here's the way that system works. It's created in your brain first by taking an amino acid, tyrosine, and it changes it into dopa, and then it changes that into dopamine. All right, now what triggers this? What triggers it is when you decide, I'm going to do something that gives me pleasure. I'm going to do something, and we don't think in these terms, that we're literally saying, not literally, but figuratively saying, that we're going to make some dopamine, and we're going to enjoy ourselves when we decide to do something that has fun. Ever had a milkshake, and you liked it? That was because you decided to have a milkshake. Well, in a sense, what you did is you decided that you're going to manufacture some dopamine. Well, do the same thing throughout all of your life, specifically as an Aspergian, as an Aspie. By the way, very quickly, I got to tell you this. There's a lot of things that dopamine does for you and helps you besides just having fun, besides just giving you pleasure. For example, it helps you in learning. It helps you with motivation, with your heart rate, with blood vessel function, kidney function. I could go on and on. There's a whole list of things that dopamine helps. So it's a healthy thing for you to do as long as you don't have fun all the time. I mean, yeah, you could have too much of water. You could have too much air. You could have too much dopamine. But for most of us, that's really not a problem. Okay, we got 4 things really quickly. And as always, I save the best to the very last. So you're going to want to watch this video to the very, very, very end so you don't miss anything. Number 1 is this. To manufacture dopamine, the best thing to do is to create an end goal. We've talked about this in other videos, but let's say you live in Michigan or Wisconsin, way up north somewhere, maybe even Canada, and you decide, I'm going to take a trip to Canada, or to Florida, rather. And you get in your car and just take off. I don't know anybody that does that, unless you just think it's fun to, sometimes people just like to drive. They don't want to have a direction. Well, that in itself is fun, but most of the time what we'll do is we'll get out a map. Okay, I'm showing my age. We'll get out GPS, or we'll go to Google Maps and we'll look. Okay, it's going to take so many miles, so many hours, so much drive time. I got to set up some smaller goals to get to Florida. All right, that's step number 2. So we create step goals, okay, to get from, say, Michigan to Florida. I think maybe I'll stop in Nashville overnight, then maybe I'll stop in Jacksonville, and then I'll go on down to the beach, wherever you happen to be going. Do the same thing in life. Set up goals, establish the end game. What is that you were trying to accomplish? And then set up those step goals. How you get from point A to point B is, well, you got to get to those step goals first. And every time you do, guess what? You've succeeded. And every time you success, you feel good. And when you feel good, you're having fun. You are creating dopamine. So throughout life, what we're doing is we're setting up goals and step goals. Number 1 and number 2. And just in doing that, just in accomplishing those goals, we are manufacturing, we are creating dopamine, we are controlling our own minds. I love it. I love it. Hey, I'm in control of my mind. This is my mind. Nobody else is in charge of it except me. There's some exceptions, like when you get pulled over for a traffic ticket on your way to Nashville. But yeah, you're having fun. You're in control of your life, and you decided you're going to have fun. So if you have Asperger syndrome and you are not having fun, maybe it's because you're not trying to have fun. Oh, that hurts. Maybe it's because you're not even trying to create dopamine. Maybe you didn't know that you could do this, but yes, you can. All right, again, you have a milkshake. You enjoy that. That creates dopamine. You're in control of your mind. Again, apply that principle throughout your life. Now, as you're doing this, say, for example, well, what I like to do, and I talked about this in another video, but say when I'm out and about, maybe in a grocery store or taking a walk, inevitably you're going to encounter strangers. Now, people with Asperger syndrome do not like to make eye contact, but I make a game out of it. I have fun doing it. Just turns everything on its head. So what I do is when I pass a stranger, and I don't do this every time, all the time, but when I pass a stranger, I will intentionally not just try to make eye contact, but I try to be the first to make eye contact. Why? Because it's a game. I make a game out of it. I'm having fun. And when I do that, I win. If I make eye contact first, if I look at them and then they look at me, I scored a point. And guess what else I do? I say hello, hey, how you doing? Or something like that. Or maybe good morning, whatever. Or if they're German, I say good morning, but say something. And when I do that, when I speak before they speak, I scored another point. I'm having fun. I'm having a blast. I go through life having fun. Driving down the street, you ever try to be polite to somebody and let them in or let them out or whatever the case is, scored a point. I'm having fun. I make life fun. The way you do that is you work out a ongoing point system. And every time you do something that gives you pleasure, like making eye contact, eye contact, seriously. I know Asperger's syndrome people find this difficult to believe, but you can have fun making eye contact if you control your brain. If you decide, I'm going to have fun doing this. Phrase it this way, make it a game. Make it a game. Throughout all of life, you're playing a game. Not that you're not taking it seriously, because there are some serious games out there, like professional basketball. They pay those guys, some of them, millions of dollars. Okay, you're not going to make millions of dollars, I don't think, doing this, but you're going to reward yourself with I don't want to say dopamine hits, that doesn't sound good, but by releasing dopamine. So you are rewarding yourself, but we'll talk about that. Well, let's talk about it now. This is point number 4 is pay yourself. Now, dopamine release, having fun, is payment in and of itself. But there are other things you can do to pay yourself. For example, I like to go out to eat at a favorite restaurant, and I get a whole list of them. And of course, I take my wife along, So we go out to a favorite restaurant, and that is my reward. I get to have some good food that I enjoy. I get to spend some time with my wife, which I enjoy. I am rewarding myself. No, I do not sit in front of my computer all day long making videos. I do other stuff. And at least once a week, I reward myself and my wife. We go out to eat. Okay, now what if, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Ken, I'm on this diet, I can't reward myself going out to eat. But yeah, you can do other things. You don't have to go out to eat. But what is it that gives you pleasure? What I would suggest you do, and you're good at this because you have Asperger syndrome, what I suggest you do is make a list of things that give you pleasure, but don't hurt you, don't harm you. Again, if you were trying to lose weight, I suggest you don't reward yourself with a chocolate milkshake. Find something else that gives you pleasure. Maybe spend a couple hours watching a movie on the computer or on your television. Remember those back in the old days? We had these things called televisions. But yeah, reward yourself somehow, some way with something that releases dopamine. Now, the reason you're doing that is because every time your brain takes, I call it a potato chip hit, you eat one potato chip, you want to eat another one because eating that first one released dopamine. You created dopamine. You're controlling your brain. So you eat another one because you like that. You like having fun. You like enjoying potato chips. Well, that was fun eating the second one, so I'll eat a third one. Next thing you know, the whole bag is gone. But we can do that same thing throughout all of life. Something that is fun. And you do it again, and you do it again, because it released dopamine and you liked it. So make everything you do in life, find out a way to make it likable, to make it enjoyable, to make it fun. And when you do that, you want to do it again and again and again and again. It's a great way just to learn. All right, number 3 is pay yourself. Number 4, well, let's go back. Ready? Number 1 is create an end goal. Number 2 is create step goals. Number 3 is to pay yourself. And number 4 is journaling. Hey, just keep track of it. Yeah, you're an Aspie. You know already all about journaling. Asperger syndrome is what I call spreadsheet syndrome. You know what I'm talking about. If you're an Aspie, you know very good and well what I'm talking about. So just, write down your goals and then write down your accomplishments at the end of every day, maybe the end of every week. If you are weightlifting, maybe once a month, once a week might be too much, but once a month, keep track of your measurements. If you're trying to lose weight, maybe once a day or once a week, get on the scale. If you're trying to up your game when it comes to social contact, hey, I looked 5 people in the eye today. I spoke to 5 people today. Journal it. Write it down. What are your thoughts? Think of the things that, and this is an assignment for you right now that you can do as soon as this video ends. Get out your spreadsheet. I know all of you have one. Get out your spreadsheet and make a list of things that trigger dopamine. Things that you find fun. And if you can't think of any, you're not trying. I guarantee you, some point in time in your life, you've had fun. I mean, seriously, you got in your whole life, never had fun doing anything? I don't believe you. Make a list on your spreadsheet, or you can use WordPad if you want, whatever, but make a list of things that you find enjoyable, that you have fun. Okay, that is your motivation list. So every time you accomplish a goal, made eye contact, spoke with somebody, actually got out of the house and did something, write it down. Why? Because that triggers more dopamine. Now you see what's happening here. You're creating a dopamine chain one after the other. And you're reminding yourself when you journal, when you take notes. And it's okay if you trip up, make a mistake, something doesn't work, you can make a note of that so that you can go back and fix it later. Now, this is just one of a lot of videos. On the screen, you will see links to other videos. We got lots of them, and these are fresh as the day we made them. I only make videos that can be applied day after day, month after month, year after year. So we have other videos that are as fresh as this one. You watch them anytime you want to.